All righty. You are looking live at Sold Out Life Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Buffalo Bills. And why are the Buffalo Bills 0-16? Because they suck. They ain't won nothing since the 64-65 AFL championship. They ain't won jack. You know what? In almost 60 years. Does wide right ring a bell, anybody? They suck. They suck. And it always cracks me up. Welcome to anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Well, if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. You should try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes. As soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. But also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever. Hold. Time out on field. Got to move the chair for my buddy Randy here. I woke him up. All right, buddy. Okay, Randy's here. We can continue. Randy's here. So as I said, instead of me just rambling on, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So if you any comments, please feel free, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you're subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you all. Maybe give this video a thumbs up or share it. That'd be freaking awesome. And then finally, also, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart, can't stand change. Get off my lawn! I'm one of them old-time farts, can't stand change. Like, keep things the way they are and all that stuff. Right? It's a Twitter link. Okay, whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, bro. I ain't calling it that. It's Twitter, right? Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day, right? And then the link on top of it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have 8,000 members in the group. We just reached 8,000 a couple days ago. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but if you become a member, members post stuff in this group. So between me and the members, there's a ton. There's a lot. I mean, I'm putting a lot of stuff in this group every day, right? So please, it's called the New York Giants. It's the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, obviously, I mean, there's always guys out there. I mean, some guys don't want to get picked up right away because they want to get picked up. The free agents, right? Don't want to get picked up right away. I'll sign a contract. Maybe August 31st, September 7th. When's the season starts? Season starts September 6th. I'll sign a contract September 5th. How's that sound? Okay. So they just conveniently, want to miss training camp and all that stuff and everything like that. I guess I get it. Especially, if they're like an old veteran, been around 10 years, like a Houston or Clowney or somebody. Maybe he's going to be a situational pass rusher or something like that. They're going to get in on 20, 25 snaps a game or something. They've been through training camp. They know what they're doing. I can understand that and all that. Right? But, a lot of the free agency frenzy has died down a little bit. There's still a ton of guys out there. Right? And the Giants they're still bringing guys in. We lost a couple guys, but no big deal, which I'll go over that in a little bit. But interesting, I happened to forget, and winds up working out very interesting. Like I forgot exactly what year Joe Schoen. I could remember it was 17 or 18 when he became the assistant general manager with the Bills, but it was 2017, and just happened to be, the Joe Schoen was an assistant general manager. So he was the first time he was in the control room, right? It means the assistant general manager. The first guy that they ever picked, the Bills did, is coming in for a visit this week. How interesting how stuff sometimes comes full circle, right? So you never, obviously, very rarely do you see people burning bridges. Like Martindale, or what? There's no, not that he'd ever come back here anyway, but he's not going to get a good recommendation, or he's not coming back here. Nobody's asking him to. See, every now and then you get a little burnt bridge or something like that, but most of the time, wherever you're at, you try to make the best of it. If you're not, if you're not getting all the playing time you want, if you're not making the money you want, but all, if you're going to sit in the corner and suck your thumb and poop your pants and act like a little 2-year-old and stuff like that, chances are you're only hurting. Here you go. You're only hurting yourself, right? You act like a grown up, right? If it stinks, it's okay, right? So you can maybe get out after a year, but you act like a gentleman, right? Because you never know, the teammates, right? Who you attract or who you repel away from, your coaches and stuff like that. Because if you're going to be in this league for multiple years, or even if you're going to be a coach after it's over with, and everything, you want to be leaving positive impressions for the most part, with everybody who came around, and it's a lot of it's like who and where and everything, your contacts and everything, and sometimes it winds up being can be a small world, so when Tre'Davious White was with Buffalo, right, had nothing good but good things there. So let's see if maybe we can get with maybe Joe Schoen can bring him in and get him to work a little magic with him. Wouldn't that be freaking fantastic? Now, there was nothing, obviously, because Tre'Davious White was obviously on the defense. He was there with Dable, but Dable had, Dable's on the offense, White's on the defense, but they were still on the team at the same time. But I think Dable was with, Alabama in 2017 when he got drafted. White got drafted. But regardless, Shane was there. Shane might even been, sometimes because Shane doesn't even make the original phone call sometimes, right? So Shane might, with the Giants, right? Somebody else maybe makes the phone call and then hands the phone to Shane, right? To get, so could have been Shane made the original phone call to Tre'Davious White, right? And said, yeah, hey, it's Joe Schoen, Buffalo. I'm the assistant GM. Yeah, okay, hold on. I'm going to hand you to Brandon Bean. Okay, hold on. So he's going to hand right? So he might have made the phone call to Tre'Davious. to Tre'Davious. Hold on. He might have made the phone call to Tre'Davious. Yeah, I'm an idiot. But let's see. Giants meeting with Tre'Davious White as they look to fill a cornerback void. Now, I mean, this would if this was a few years ago, this would be huge. But this once again is the reason why, a few years ago is why he was still locked up with the Bills, because he was very good, right? First round pick. I think he was picked 27 overall, the 2017 draft. I mean, he was obviously they took Tre'Davious, right? Next year, right? They took Josh Allen. Okay. So back-to-back good picks. Right. His problem is with Tre'Davious is the recent rash of injuries he's had. So can he bounce back? We'll have to wait and see. I mean, he might be back and all this and everything like that, able to play. But the biggest question is, at what level can he play? Well, he'll be playing a lot of, with Bowen's defense. Seems like they're going to start maybe playing a little more zone than what Wink did. Okay, so he's not going to be locked on, right? It's do or die, all or nothing, right? It's either incomplete pass or touchdown. It's not going to be that, so this might bid well for him, right? In more of a, why possibly a zone coverage defense, right? But he's been busy. He's had quite a few interviews. The Giants need a starting cornerback. Yes, we do. A former All-Pro, Tre'Davious White, needs a new team. Ooh. And the key figures all know each other. That's right. White, who was released by Bills on March 8th, will meet with the Giants later this week. ESPN reported. He's had obviously he's hot commodity, right? He's visited the Rams on Tuesday and is headed to visit the Titans as well, too. The Giants have a vacancy opposing Deonte Banks, and their 3-year union with free agent Adoree Jackson seems over. Yeah, I'd have to think so. Nick McLeod, Cordell Flott, and Trey Hawkins are the healthy in-house options, but none of the three have ever been a full-time starting cornerback in the NFL, which is true. White, 29, so he's obviously he can still play ball. He's not somebody we're gonna lock down for 4 or 5 years or something like that. I mean, could be like a 1-year prove-it deal. Right? Can you stay healthy? How can you perform? Right? We'll give you 1 year, whatever, $5 million guarantee. What's it going to take for you to be here? Right? We'll give you 1 year deal. Can you stay healthy? Can you perform? If you can, right? All right. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it after the season's over with. Right? We got Deonte Banks. We can have you for a couple of years. Right? And if we can get him, and that might check off one of the boxes that we have. I mean, because, we need a cornerback. If we get him, just maybe we don't have to check off a cornerback in the second round of this year's draft. Maybe we get some depth. Maybe like what do we get? Javarius Owens was the 7th round. Trey Hawkins was 6th round last year. Was that right? Yeah. Hey, we'll get some depth in the 5th round, something like that. Maybe, especially, if we're going to get some because Holmes is just a 1-year deal, right? But I'm saying, but if we're going to get a cornerback, we got to get somebody, either a safety or a cornerback in the draft. Got to. I'd be shocked if we didn't. But I'm saying, get somebody, like with Javarius Owens and Trey Hawkins, they have certain traits to them, right? Just good physical, seem like just good athletes, right? And if we get somebody in the later rounds, somebody who could be a contributor on special teams, right? Maybe we can develop them. Maybe Jerome Emerson, can develop them. And maybe in a year or so, maybe we can just start, getting them in there a little bit more and more. But I'm saying if we can get White in here, right? We got Banks, at least this season. We got Banks. We got White. We can work out the slot, right? I said we could draft somebody later on, the 5th, 6th, 7th round or something like that. Right? Be interesting to see what they think about with the safeties as well, too. Because, we got Tre'Davious Owens, who hardly sort of field there last year. With obviously Pinnock, Dane Belton, right? Be interesting to see what they think about with those guys. Do they want to go maybe 3rd or 4th round safety? I don't know, 2nd round. I mean, that would. But definitely without question, I'd be shocked if we didn't grab somebody in the secondary in the draft, because we only got 6 picks now. Right, but I'd be shocked if we don't get somebody in the draft, at least for some good depth. But White, 29, was one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL in 2018 and 2019, when Giants general manager Joe Schoen and head coach Brian Daboll were both in Buffalo. Since then, however, he has torn poor guy. He tore his ACL in 2021 and his Achilles in 2023. And he missed 30 of the Bills' past 40 regular season games. White was due a $8.35 million salary plus bonuses before he was cut by Buffalo. Whether he reunites with Schoen and Daboll could depend on his asking price, because the Giants only have about $2.5 million in salary cap space. Well, as of right now, I mean, we're going to go over that in just a little bit. But obviously, once again, I mean, there's no, it's not, well, the guy wants $5 million. But I'm sorry, I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. But I mean, if we look, I mean, he was, where are we at here? There we go. I mean, he was, his first season, according to a PFF, that's all I'm going by, 2017. He played like the whole season, 1,149 defensive snaps. Rookie cornerback, right? He graded out at 89.4. I mean, after that, his grades have tailed off, okay? But, I mean, his coverage grade was a 90 his first season. I mean, what a freaking stud he was his rookie season. 2018, he went down to a 61. So he went from an 89.4 down to 61. So, he had some issues, right? 2019 was a 75. I'll take that anytime. 2020 was a 68.5. I'll still take that. 2021, when he got injured, he still was grading out a 65.7. Now, of course, in 2022, you got to remember he came back from the ACL. So your first year back, usually from the ACL, is not going to be at your best, shall we say. Usually, from what I hear and they say, usually your second season back, that's when you can be as good, and they say possibly even better than you were before. So in 2023, after his second season back from his torn ACL, that's when he got his Achilles. Poor freaking guy. So he played in 2023. He played in the first 4 games, okay, but he graded out a 68 overall. Tore his Achilles and the season was over. Poor freaking guy. His coverage grade last season, all right, okay, now this is after his second season. This will be his 3rd season back from his ACL, right? So he should be okay, perfect from that. His coverage was a 79. His coverage grade was in the 4 games he played last season. I said his overall was a 68. Let's see here. His run defense was a little bit. He missed a couple tackles, which didn't help real, a lot. But his coverage grade was very, very good. Okay, very, very good. So it's not so much, and it's gonna lead me into my second point. This is one of the 7 moves Joe Schoen needs to make. Okay, this is one of the moves that's in here. This is from G-Men HQ. They got 7 New York Giants moves Joe Schoen still needs to make, including landing a dog of a wide receiver. Yep, I'm all for that one. Absolutely. But I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. If they, I mean, the nice thing about with White is that, with his injuries and all of that, right? He's not a lockdown corner or nothing like that. He's not going to be, I need $15 million. That's not happening. I mean, ain't nobody giving him that. You know what I'm saying? Because he just came off of 2021. He missed a lot of time. Even in 2022, he didn't play a lot. And then last season, he tore his Achilles. So he's coming off a bunch of injuries. Nobody's throwing a whole boatload of money at him because you don't know how well he's going to respond, right? And I said, he might be okay physically and all of that, but cornerback's a tough position. If you're not at your top condition or shape or whatever like that, it's going to show. So if somebody goes out there just throwing all kinds of girly world money at him, they could be making a big mistake. So, same thing. I mean, we get him in here. Hey, you talking to his agent, something. Hey, whatever. I'm just throwing numbers out there. 1 year, $5 million, all guaranteed. We'll see what he can do. If after that, right, maybe we can talk business or whatever. 4 years or 1 year, $4 million, whatever. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, I'd be hard pressed if anybody gives him any more than 1 year deal, especially because how his conditioning is and how he responds and everything like that. But that's the nice thing, because Schoen, and White, they came into Buffalo at the same time, 2017, right? So there's a connection there. So he might feel, especially now Shane's there, but Dable's there. So and he's in New York. Now, he's not in the same division or nothing like same conference or nothing like that, but he's still in New York. Well, okay. I'm an idiot. The Giants play in New Jersey, but they are New York, right? But he's still right. He's not going to Seattle. Okay, so he's still relatively close. I don't know if he lives in Buffalo or not, but, he's still relatively close. Right. But I mean, Schoen and Dable might make him feel comfortable. He may not, he might be able to, play for the Giants, and he might still be able to I don't know where he lives, but I mean, he might be able to stay in the same house instead of picking up and moving, right? If he's got to go play for the Titans or the Rams, they're moving. He's playing for the Titans, they're moving, right? I mean, if he plays for the New York team, right? So keep our thumbs up, as I said, because we're still building. And don't get me wrong. I mean, there's never going to be a time where Shane's going to sit back, kick his feet up, and go, our team's complete. We don't need – that's never going to happen. Or if it is for that one season, then it's going to start over the whole next season. But we're still building. I mean, I said, let's see where are we at after this season and next season, right? Let's get this draft, next year's free agency, because we should have some money next season. We might be able to bring in another couple studs or whatever. And next year's draft, right? Let's see where we at. Where are we at then, right? But if we can bring White in here, then we don't necessarily need to get that corner back this season, right? Maybe we can get him next season in the draft or in free agency, because we next season we might be able to get it, either way, right? We might be able to draft a cornerback in the draft, or we might be able to go get one in free agency. So, but I mean, if we can get White, right, then we can figure out maybe a slot, who's going to be in the slot. But we got Banks. If we got White, we got our cornerbacks, possibly, for this season, right? We still have all the holes, which we'll try to fill in the draft. A couple holes we can get in the draft, right? And then hopefully maybe next season we can fill in some rest of the holes. And between this season, next year's free agency, next year's draft, a lot of the holes should be hopefully pretty much filled up. Hopefully. We should only have a couple, maybe 1 or 2 holes left, maybe, right? So, but 7 moves Joe Schoen needs to make. Restructure the deals of Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence. Now, the one with this here, I can kind of, See, now this is a good point here. It's good and bad. It's like, the thing is, it's like we're competing, but rebuilding. He wants to, I don't know, rebuild that, but compete at the same time. The thing is that because we're not making the Super Bowl this year. Newsflash, right? Do you want to kick money down the road? How much money you want to kick down the road to try to compete this season? Season where you're not making the Super Bowl, right? Wouldn't it behoove you? I mean, you maybe restructure a little bit. Do you want to go out balls to the wall, restructure as much as you can? I think you can do it. I think they can do a Carrick, Thomas's, and Sexy Dexies, I think, and save, I don't know, it's like $30-40 million or something to see. Do you want to go all that and take all that and throw that down the road when that money, that you're saving them, that you're putting it down, because down the road is maybe when you might want to have some extra money, not so much now. I mean, if you restructure now, can you maybe instead of maybe do half of what you can? If you can save, I say, $40 million all told, if you totally restructured Sexy Dexy, Andrew Thomas, and maybe a Carrick or whatever, totally restructure them. Do you want to kick $40 million down the road, or maybe just 20? Because with 20, you can still maybe bring in another free agent here or so, a couple others, right? And you can sign your draft class and maybe have a little bit of money left over going into the season, right? Because the money that we have, in the next year, and it'd be more beneficial to the Giants maybe if they're trying to, maybe knock on the NFC East door, But to restructure the two deals is to start us off. Shane needs some more cap space, and he needs it fast. After the recent moves he's made, including giving Burns $150 million extension, the Giants only have a little more than $6 million in cap space for the 2024 season. Luckily, though, Shane can add a handsome amount of dough with two simple calls. That'd be to restructure the long-term deals for star offensive tackle Andrew Thomas and standout defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence. These are two of the best players for the Giants, and they're not going anywhere for a long time. Thomas signed a 5-year extension, and Sexy Dexy put in a 4-year deal. Heck, the Giants could also rework Bobby Okereke's deal to open up even more money. Lawrence and Thomas had the bigger cap hits, which is why Shane doing a restructure with the two is absolute no-brainer. As I said, the thing is, how much do you want to kick down the road? Figure things out soon with Darren Waller potentially retiring. Now, obviously, if he retires, right, we owe him some money, right? We certainly owe him some money, but we would save some money. So if he retires, the Giants will cash in a little bit. Unfortunately, our receiving threat of a tight end will be no mas. The guys we have on the team, nobody scares you as far as tight ends, okay? But we would save some money. There's a bit of Shane, out of Shane's hand, but it doesn't have to be. At the NFL Combine, news dropped that Darren Waller was going to be back with the Giants in 2024, and they had no problem taking on his $14 million cap hit to see if he can live up to his potential with the team. Fans were pumped as they would like to see Waller return to his Pro Bowl form. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's happening because with his hamstrings, I can't say that happening. However, a few hours later, a news report from Ryan Dunleavy dropped saying that Waller actually is unsure of his future and he's considering retiring. The mental toll of the 2023 season took on Waller has him thinking that he may want to hang up his cleats. You can't blame the guy, as he just can't seem to stay healthy, and his hamstring injuries just keep piling up. So, if he were to retire, the Giants would save some cap money, right? find an Xavier McKinney replacement early on in the NFL draft. Well, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so, now, to be fair, in Tennessee and especially in Buffalo, they had good safeties. Okay, but I'm not sure it's where do they put the importance at, right? Meaning now with our only second round pick, right, and our third round pick, picks 47 and 70, right? We have other issues. What maybe a backup, a quarterback, a little project of a quarterback, like the Rattle Man, or any other, quite a few other quarterbacks out there. Defensive line help. We brought in some good decent offensive linemen. But I mean, if you can go out there and get a stud of a guard or something like that, maybe in the second round. I said, if White doesn't work out, maybe you get yourself a nice cornerback. Waddle retires, maybe you get yourself a nice receiving tight end. So I mean, I don't know. Quite possibly. Once again, what do they think about Belton and Pinnock? I mean, we certainly could use some more, at least depth at safety. So if they don't go safety early on, they can certainly in the later rounds, round 4, 5, or 6, pick up a safety. But here in this article, they say get one early on. So we'll have to wait and see. You don't know exactly what Shane's thinking about here. As you know by now, McKinney, a star safety for Big Blue in 2023, won't be back with the team next season. McKinney had the best year of his career and is cashed in big time, signing a 4-year, $68 million contract with the Packers. There was just no way Shane was going to come close to that deal for the defensive back. As I said, all it takes is one team to blow him out of the water, and that's what happened. With that going down, there's a sizable hole in the middle of the secondary for new defensive coordinator Shane Bowen. The Giants signed veteran Jalen Mills to a 1-year deal, and he has the ability to play either safety or cornerback. However, more speed talent is needed to help out Jason Pinnock and Dane Belton. That's where the NFL draft comes into play. The Giants won't use the first round pick on a new safety. If they pick a safety with pick number 6, they just might as well Shane might as well just hand in his pink slip and just walk out and just never come back to the NFL ever. Period. Just quit. Let's see. But day 2 could be where a youngster hears his name called by New York. Washington State's Jaden Hicks and Georgia's Javon Bullard are 2 playmakers we're quite high on for the second round. If either are available, we'd like to see Shane bring one of them to town. I would personally like to see us bring in this is just me. I would like to see in the second round get a nice defensive lineman, but somebody who can help Sexy Dexy. And because if we get because the Giants have done well over the past in the second round, getting defensive tackles, right? We've done very well. I mean, maybe not the greatest of all time, but if you go back to 2000 with Cornelius Griffin, at Alabama, he did very well for the Giants. The only problem with the Giants is the Giants use him like a Bic lighter. They use him for 4 years and then they just we don't need you in it. I mean, so it was like almost like every 4 years they would just draft another good defensive tackle because they'd use him up and get out of here. We don't need you anymore. Like Dalvin Tomlinson, right? Out of here. We don't need you, right? But I mean, the Giants have done very good in the second round. I mean, you go back over the past 20 plus years, right? Drafting like defensive tackles in the second round. We've done very, very well. I tell you, if you can get somebody like a Dalvin Tomlinson was never, much of a pass rusher, but he was very good in the run game. So, I mean, if you can get somebody who's very good in the run game, but I mean, the second, maybe you get somebody who gets a little push up the middle. That would, because let's not forget what's I'm hearing about Bowen's defense, especially the front four. They stopped the run on their way to rushing the quarterback, right? So, I mean, one thing is with Bowen, right? He's very good. His defense, very good at stopping the run. So let's get somebody next to Sexy, build in the trenches, get the trenches set, and then worry about everything else, right? Because if I mean, with Sexy in there, right, Burns and Kayvon, we should be pretty good. But let's get that front wall set, right? Hopefully we get the offensive line. Let's get that front, right? Then we start worrying about the out there, right? Let's worry about the trenches. Let's be able to go mano-a-mano with the Eagles' offensive line. Let's go mano-a-mano with the Cowboys' offensive line, right? Right? Then we'll start worrying about, okay? Because you can grab the greatest safety in the world. You can grab the greatest cornerback in the world. But if you can't get to the quarterback, right, Deion Sanders can't cover a guy for 38 seconds. And, right? I mean, with Burns and Kayvon and all that, we should, hopefully that ain't happening. But let's get that front wall set. Let's get some four young studs in there, right? They can build and work together for quite a few years to come, right? Be really, really nice. I'm kind of hoping we get a nice defensive lineman, but it is what I mean. It doesn't. I mean, they try to take the best player available. So we'll see. Sign a veteran cornerback to help monitor Deonte Banks. Well, I mean, if we got White coming in, that could be fantastic. Speaking of the secondary, can we get some experience at cornerback, please? That's. I mean, because you look at Hawkins, be a second season Flott, right? He's not a seasoned veteran. Banks, second season, right? So I mean, don't have a ton of experience there at cornerback, right? White would be freaking perfect. All right, next. One of the 7 moves they want Shane to make here. Finally bring in a dog of a wide receiver this offseason. Offense has been begging for now. Hopefully, crazier things happen. I mean, keep hearing this J.J. McCarthy kind of thing kind of going on. Is it going to be pick 6 all over again? We'll have to wait and see. But the opportunity is there. Pretty much straight up, doggone, almost guaranteed. Neighbors, Dunze, or Harrison Jr. is going to be there. You can almost take it to the bank. One of those 3 guys is going to be there. And you can't go wrong with any of them. Now, the thing is that, obviously Dunze is a little more taller, right? But Neighbors are a little shorter, right? So they each have their own little, qualities that maybe the other one doesn't have. But, apparently you can't go wrong with either one. I kind of like the taller receivers if you can get them. But, that's you're at the mercy of the people in front of you, the teams in front of you. But, talking about getting a number 1 wide receiver, that's check that off the list, right? You grab one of those wide receivers, and, you have your starting number 1 wide receiver for hopefully quite a few years, unless he gets injured or something like that. But I mean, we can stop talking about we're no number 1 wide receiver now. No, we just drafted one, so we're good with that. You know what I mean? All right, next. What do we got here? Signed another running back to help out Devin Singletary. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see. I was on Big Blue Kickoff Live today. Yeah, it was today. They were talking about the second day of the draft today. And John Schmelk was talking. He says he doesn't think there will be a running back taken in the first 50 picks. However, he made like a big assumption here. But he said, however, I think there might be 8 running backs taken from 50 to 100. So, I mean, the Giants that maybe, or I don't know if they want to take a running back at number 70. I don't know. Unless they're really, really good. But I don't know. That's, maybe, with a pick 107 that we have, maybe we can go there. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. But, as I said, we still got Brightwell. We got Eric Gray. I mean, they drafted Eric Gray for a reason. Obviously not to return punts anymore, right? But we got Jashawn Corbin. I'm not sure, how much they think of him. But we still got a few good guys on I mean, once again, if they take a running back, can be probably 4th round on back. We got too many holes to fill. Too many holes to take somebody in the first 3 picks. I mean, hopefully those first 3 picks will be kind of the plug holes that we have, right? Take a running back who would be kind of like a luxury. Somebody maybe add to the the stable of guys that we have, because it's going to be kind of like a running back by committee. Because Singletary was never. All right, we got Singletary. We can hand the ball to him 35 times a game, and he'll be good. We can just keep doing that. That's not him. So you want it like the running back by committee, right? So you can add to the committee, right? But I mean, now that's like it's a little bit of a luxury, So I take like in the top 3 rounds. That was what we got: 6, 47, and 70. Nah, maybe 107, maybe. For a running back, as I said, let's not forget. So we still got Brightwell. We got they just drafted Eric Gray and they brought in Singletary. Right. All right, what we got here? Make a tough decision at quarterback with Daniel Jones. Yeah, that could be a tough one. This one could really go either way. On one side of things, there's buzz that the Giants are planning to move into the top 3. To take either Drake May or Jaden Daniels. What? With the Bears trading Justin Fields to Pittsburgh, it feels like a lock that they're planning to use number 1. Oh, yeah, you can probably. Well, I mean, unless, I'm just, Caleb Williams is the best one. If Shane goes after May or Daniels, then we'll know for sure this will be Jones's last season with the team because of his injury guarantee. In his contract, we may see very little of him in 2024. However, some experts, including Mel Kiper Jr., think the Giants and Shane are ready to give Danny Dimes one last shot to prove he can be the kind of quarterback that they thought he'd be when they gave him his $100 million extension, $160 million extension. Jones has gotten plenty of help from the offensive line additions with Runyon Jr., Illuminor. If Neighbors or Dunzi is brought in at number 6 overall, one of them would be a monster addition for Jones to work with. This won't be an easy decision at all, but it's why Shane is in the big boy chair. That's right. Come late April, we'll know for sure what he has in mind for the future of his team. Absolutely. Yep. All right. Well, and then the Giants, lost a couple of guys. Hottie and Peart. Now, Hottie, I mean, hey, I'll tell you what, the guy was on the team for a couple of years. Great teammate, great in the locker room, great, his fire and all that stuff and everything. But he was like a Wink Martindale guy. He probably would never came here, period, if Wink Martindale was not here. Right? It'd be interesting to see if Wink Martindale is in Michigan still in a year or so. Say Hottie retires. It'd be interesting to see if he brings Hottie down to Michigan to be like a assistant linebacker coach or something like that or whatever there. Be interesting to see. Because Wink said, like, hey, as long as I'm in this league here, Hottie will always have a job. So he's not in this league anymore. So, but Hottie does have a job. And it's obviously no longer with the Giants, but he signs with the Vikings. Good for him. Good for him. Outside linebacker Jihad Ward could always count on defensive coordinator Wink Martindale for a job. But Martindale resigned from his post with the Giants in January to take the defensive coordinator role at Michigan. So Ward, an unrestricted free agent, signed with the Vikings. Ward played in 34 games for the Giants with 20 starts over 2 years in blue. He recorded 67 tackles, 8 sacks, including career-high 5 last season, 22 quarterback pressures, and 4 pass breakups. However, his 118.8 coverage rating matched his career high, first set in 2019. So, I mean, that's not something. That's not something to be proud of. I don't know what he got paid. What his contract was or anything like that. But he was. There was a good chance. I mean, the Giants weren't going to bring him back anyway. And speaking of people the Giants probably weren't going to ever bring back, how about Matt Peart? Huh? Now, maybe, quite possibly, maybe with Peart, sometimes you just need a breath of fresh air. Open the windows up and go someplace else and get a fresh start. Well, maybe this might be for him, but it seems like, his injuries he had, and was it Rob Sale was here, and they just talk. He just never. Nobody ever seemed that. He just didn't seem like he had the dog attitude in him. And I know Sale said something like he just doesn't. I don't know. He's kind of like kind of like happy, kind of go lucky or something like that. Okay, I'm gonna play tackle. How you doing, guy? Man, just crazy. Man, we're gonna run a play now. Yeah, I'm gonna put my hand in the dirt. When he calls signal, I'm gonna try to block somebody. That's cool. He just didn't seem to have that, that mentality. Yeah, it's a shame because when you take somebody in the 3rd round, I mean, you at worst comes the worst. I mean, if he doesn't want to be a starter or something like that, I mean, at least a swing tackle, 3rd round tackle. I mean, he was a swing and a miss there. My goodness. But maybe he goes someplace else, right? Maybe he goes to Denver. Peart could replace Cam Fleming as Denver's primary swing tackle. Well, God bless him. I mean, Denver Broncos made a rare dip in the free agent pool, signing former New York Giants offensive tackle Matt Peart to a 1-year deal. All right. God bless you. It's a great organization, great history here. Okay, yeah. You sure you know about that, Matt? Yeah, all right. It's a great culture, great atmosphere, Peart told the official team website upon touching pen to paper. Yeah. It's amazing how the great culture is when somebody's offering your contract. So they got a lot of rich history here. Yeah, do you even know what the history is? But anyway, Peart, 26, is entering his 5th NFL season after appearing in 43 games, making 7 starts for the Giants, who selected a 6'7", 315-pound tackle with its 2020 3rd-round draft pick. What a waste. The UConn product started 48 career games as a collegiate, earning first-team All-AAC honors in 2019. And once again, I don't know what that doesn't say with the doesn't say what he got signed for, but it is important to note that Peart has the potential to get stronger and that issues of concerns are mostly correctable. He has the physical traits that put him in a position to get better and better as a pro. Well, he's had 4 years to do that in New York, and that never happened. I mean, the one thing, he's been around for 4 years. I mean, you think if he was getting better and better and better. I mean, 4 years, you can do some, I'm not saying you're going to go from a 3rd-round pick to a Hall of Famer. But I mean, if you work at it and this and that, and you really take a lot of pride in what you're doing and stuff like and all that and everything, and you can, see some. I mean, how many times we were just crying and begging for a tackle or a swing tackle or anything like that, and right? I mean, he had chances, but well, as I said, maybe he'll do better in Denver. Interesting to say, but out of the Giants, I don't think we're never bringing him back. All right, then Giants. Speaking of tackles, Giants brought in a tackle. Now, obviously, Giants host Lions free agent tackle Matt Nelson. Now, the one nice thing, Giants continue to explore upgrades for their offensive line. Now, obviously, Matt Nelson, his grades are far superior to anything Matt Peart would. The one nice thing about bringing in a offensive lineman from Detroit is that, Detroit offensive line. Very nice. His grades are only so-so, but I mean, they're just exploring it. It just said they brought him in. Didn't say they signed him or anything like that. Detroit Lions offensive tackle Matt Nelson, an unrestricted free agent, recently visited with the New York Giants. Nelson's 28 years old, stands 6'7". These guys are freaking monsters. Weighs 315 pounds. He was signed as an undrafted free agent out of Iowa following the 2019 draft by the Lions. After spending his rookie season on the Lions practice squad, he made the 53-man roster the following year. Nelson has appeared in 43 games with 14 starts over his career, playing the bulk of his snaps at right tackle. But he's played left tackle as well, too. He's played them both. So, can you say swing tackle? Possibility. Now, as I said, you don't bring somebody like this, this guy's a Hall of Famer, right? No. I mean, you want somebody who's a swing tackle flexibility. Right? Can he play both tackles? Yes, he can. Will he be cheap? Yes, he probably will be. Right? He has a lot of tread left on the tires, right? He hasn't played like 13,000 snaps, right? Like that. So, playing the bulk of his snaps at right tackle, 639 career pass blocking snaps, 639 career pass blocking snaps. That's not a lot. Some guys do that in a whole season. He's done that in his whole career, right? He has allowed 52 quarterback pressures. That's not very good. 95.3 pass blocking efficiency rating. Last season, he appeared in 3 games for the Lions with 2 starts before suffering a season-ending ankle injury. Now we'll go here. Where are we at? Yeah. And we go up to Mr. Nelson here. And last season, last season he played in 85 snaps last season. So you figure 85 snaps is a little bit more than 1 game, right? He gave up, last year he gave up 2 pressures. That's not too bad. He gave up the 2 pressures. He played 1 snap against Kansas City. Right? Against Seattle. He played 66 snaps. He gave up 2 pressures. All right. Then he played, then he must have got injured against Atlanta. And I guess that must have, because he started against Atlanta at right tackle. He played 18 snaps and he played no mas. So he must have really injured his ankle really bad. And he was out the whole rest of the season. So, but the one thing that it's a little in 2021, okay, he played 675 snaps. 2021. Let's see. Hold on. Block. Let me break this down there a little bit. Offense. Okay, here we go. Let's go to 2021 here. So I can break this down a little bit better. Okay, 2021. He gave up in 416 pass blocking snaps. Okay. Now, to be fair, he played at right tackle and he played some games at left tackle, right tackle and left tackle, but 416 pass blocking snaps. Let's go back here. 416 in 2021. He gave up 41 pressures, 416 pass block. So basically, every 10 times they dropped back, he gave up pressure. So basically, if you throw like 30 passes a game, which some teams throw even more than that, so he's giving up like 3 pressures a game. So 416. Some teams throw 500-600 passes in a game. He would have gave up like probably 50 or 60 pressures in a season, which is absolutely freaking horrible. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there. He had some good games. He obviously had some bad games. Against Philadelphia, he gave up 6 pressures. Chicago, he gave up 5 pressures. His first 2 games, one against San Fran and one against Green Bay, he gave up 6 pressures. Another one, he gave up 6 pressures. The last game of the season against Green Bay, he had a hard time against Green Bay. The last game against Green Bay, week 18 of 2021, he gave up 7 pressures. So, let's see, right tackle. Well, actually, at left tackle, he did pretty good. All his pressures were right tackle. He had 4 games he played at left tackle. He gave up no pressures. None. Not one pressure in 4 games. He was like he started against Seattle at week 10, 14, 15, and 17. Played a left tackle in 2021. Didn't give up one pressure. So all of his pressures were from right tackle. Okay, so, right. But he's played both. The thing is, he'll be relatively cheap. He's 28 years old. He'll turn 29 in December. So, I mean, certainly somebody you can, if you're going to bring him in and sign him, he could be maybe for a couple seasons or something like that. Maybe somebody can, some more depth. Maybe you can put him on, maybe it might be your swing tackle. Who knows? Be interesting to see because, what do the Giants think about with Illuminor, right? Or Neal, right? I think if they put Neal on the inside, they're just going to maybe put him and leave him in there. Maybe have Illuminor at right tackle. You have Andrew Thomas, and then maybe if you had this guy Nelson, be maybe your swing tackle, because you don't know where Tyree Phillips is at with his injury. Not exactly sure. I really haven't heard anything at all. The problem was he got injured so late in the season. The injury just sounds kind of nasty. But I mean, injury so late in the season might take him a while to recuperate. So we'll have to wait and see. But as I said, I mean, it just brought this guy in. And if they do sign him, it just we don't have a Hall of Famer on our right. It just be some more depth. Maybe somebody can put it at swing tackle, right? And finally, we re-signed, and I don't want to say an old friend, but we brought back somebody, right? Special teams and some good depth in the secondary. Good old Darnay Holmes, right? So just a 1-year deal. I don't know. It doesn't say. Does it say here? I don't know if it says here. Signed him to a 1-year deal. Holmes provides depth and competition in the slot, but also very importantly too, okay, is that he did very good last season on the special teams. Now, do I have him popped up here? Yep, yes, I do. Now, I mean, last season, what did he got? Was this last season? Yep, 2023. He graded out 63.9 overall. Not too bad. His coverage grade is 68.7. Actually, last season was his coverage. Actually, last season was his best grading season ever for the Giants. The 4 years he was with the Giants. 2020, according to PFF. So I'm going with 2020 graded out of 48, 2021 55, 2022 44. Last season graded out 63.9, almost a 64. So that's pretty good. That's not bad. But his big contribution was on special teams. Where we had special teams. There we go. Now he played, how many snaps he played? 194 special team snaps. He graded out 65.5 overall. He hit one with 5 tackles. So he got called for 2 penalties. He gets his penalties in there, but he's definitely last season he was a big special teams contributor, and he did very good. He did very, very good. Let's see. He was on kick coverage and punt return and punt coverage and field goal block. Basically, anyway, the kickoff return, there's no need to have him out there because the kickoff return, you want people who can block and stuff like that. You want the kickoff return, punt guys we need out there to tackle. Well, that would be him. As I said, he did a very good job for the Giants last season in special teams. So to bring him in and bring him back and just have some good quality, some good quality depth. I mean, he's maybe not the greatest of all time or not like that, but he'd be, I'm sure, relatively cheap. He's familiar with obviously the organization. Jerome Henderson has been there the whole time with him and all of that. So I think it was a very, very good pickup for the Giants, or a signing for the Giants. Very, very good. So the Giants will retain one of their free agents. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN says the Giants are re-signing cornerback Darnay Holmes to a 1-year deal. He's only 25. I mean, I really like. I hate drafting guys and just letting the freaking guys go. Especially because, I mean, what makes this really nice, okay, is that Shane did not draft him. He came with Kmart. When Shane came, well, here's Darnay Holmes, right? So, especially when you're bringing, I mean, he didn't sign him to a 3-year deal, 4-year deal, and all. I guess just a 1-year deal. And who knows, after this season, he might be gone once again. Who knows? But I always like, I just feel like a bond when we draft these guys. It says, I mean, it's like, you draft so and so in the third round, second round, whatever. It's like, oh God, that's a giant. Okay, right? I mean, you feel a bond with them. It's like your baby. You know what I mean? Oh, this is our 4th round baby right here. Okay. Oh, you're gonna be a giant for a long time, and then after 3-4 years, they just let it. I mean, I hate that. Draft the guy, keep them, keep them. I mean, that's obviously it's a lot easier for me to say, but I'm happy with this one. Holmes, 25, appeared in 16 games for the Giants last season. 5'10", 195 pounds. Holmes was drafted the Giants' 110th overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. Over his first 4 seasons, Holmes has played in 54 games, 11 starts, and has registered 115 tackles, 18 passes defense, 4 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. Obviously, he played at UCLA, right? Holmes did not start any games for the Giants last season, and his 123 defensive snaps played were the fewest of his 4-year NFL career. He provides depth behind Cordell Flott, who is not very big. So I certainly ain't wishing for nobody to get injured, but I mean, Cordell's not very big. He has depth behind Flott. Holmes also emerged as a useful special teams player last season, getting a career-high 194 special team snaps, 45% of the special team snaps. He was used in a critical position on punt gunner 87 times. And he did a very good job. And this is like a double win because you're bringing somebody who's young, right? We haven't put him through 3,000, 4,000 snaps, or he's got a lot of tread left on the tire. He's familiar with the organization. Jerome Henderson knows what he's got. He's this. We got a new defensive coordinator come in, but as I said, he's familiar with the team, familiar with Shane, everything like that. And it's a double. I mean, you're adding some depth to the secondary, but also you're keeping like when we got McCain back, right? And we got Holmes. We signed Carter Coughlin, right? So we got some key contributors to the special teams, which is huge. Yeah, just let's not forget, it's offense, defense, and special teams, right? I mean, special teams is huge, and the special teams did seem to make a nice nice contribution last season. They seem to do pretty good. But all right, guys, been 1 hour and 3 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.